The Continental Energy and Infrastructure Investment Forum is taking place in Johannesburg. The forum is a pan-African trade, investment and economic development platform created to connect Africa's energy and infrastructure requirements with the capital, technology, industrial capability and implementation partnerships needed to deliver them. SABC convenes governments, development finance institutions, investors, infrastructure project owners, utilities, engineering, as well as manufacturing companies, exporters, industry associations, SMMEs and other strategic partners around identified projects as well as commercial opportunities. For more on this, we cross live to our reporter, Nompumelelo Siziba. A very good morning to you, Nompumelelo. A very important forum, if you will, today to discuss, among others, energy and infrastructure, because the two are critical components to actually stimulating the growth of any economy. Just share with us exactly in detail what we expect to hear, the kind of conversations that will be taking place today.
Thanks very much for that, Mfundo. You're absolutely right. You're spot on that this is a really critical forum that's taking place, because it is critical. If you make investments in the area of energy and infrastructure, you're bedding down a situation where you're going to get a conducive environment for businesses to work and operate, create jobs, grow the economy, and so on and so forth. And of course, we know that the African continent has significant infrastructural gaps, and they are absolutely critical, especially now that we have ambitions around the African Continental Free Trade Area. You know, it's great to be able to have goods, to be able to transport to another market, but you need to be able to do that through seamless pathways, and those are not the case at the moment. But one of the participants here and a key sponsor of this forum is the South African Electrotechnical Export Council, and basically they are, as the name implies, experts in the area of export. And so let me, without any further ado, turn to Ms. Chiboni Evans, who is the CEO of the association. Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to us. Now, why is it that the South African Electrotechnical Export Council felt so strongly to participate in this, and what is it that you're hoping to get out of it?
Thank you so much, Mpumi. So the South African Electrotechnical Export Council is a public-private partnership with the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition and the private sector. So we actually are the conveners of this initiative, which is a Continental Energy and Infrastructure Investment Forum, which we have now been running for 4 years in collaboration with the Development Bank of Southern Africa and the Export Credit Insurance Corporation. Reason we started on this initiative is clearly South Africa has to have a focus for the African continent, together with our other African partners, to build the infrastructure that we require on the continent in order to make us industrialize, to be able to trade more freely with each other, and to trade also not just in raw materials, but in manufactured goods and services. So that's really the force and the rationale behind it. The financial institutions came into place because we wanted to make sure that we can increase participation in implementation of projects by African businesses. So we needed to ensure that we've got money from our continent to do that, so that we then can direct in a way how we increase the local content in terms of the development of the projects and the implementation of the projects, and then after that, the maintenance of the programs and the projects.
Now, you touched on localization. That has really been a big buzzword throughout the African continent and here at home in South Africa. How do you ensure that there is that localization, and especially the participation of SMMEs? Because you can't imagine that an SMME is going to easily have access to the likes of the DBSA to get involved and be part of the infrastructural growth program.
That's a fantastic question. So the SMME component is an extremely important one, because you know that the largest economies in the world have actually been bedded down by the SMMEs. So we have a strong focus on our SMME development, and it mainly comes in, first of all, at the construction phase of these projects, but more importantly at the maintenance phase. So we find a lot of collaboration with our African partners at very much the SMME level, where SMMEs can work with each other to learn to build the the infrastructure that is required, be it roads, rail, ports, renewable energy assets, and then thereafter maintain it. So our SMME, the sustainability of those SMMEs is in the maintenance of these assets once we've built them on the continent.
Thank you so much, Shiboni, for giving us some sort of insight into the work that's being done here. That was Shiboni Evans. She's the CEO at the South African Electrotechnical Export Council. And to the point that you were making earlier, Mfundo, in terms of discussions that are going to be had, Shiboni's given us a broad framework of the issues. But what's happening is that this conference is really emphasizing on partnerships, on exporters and the financial institutions and other players to get together, have real conversations about possibilities that they can work on to actually invest and grow on the continent. And of course, South Africa is very well placed because we are in South Africa to take advantage of the opportunities on the African continent. And of course, this is but one of many initiatives that needs to take place to get Africa positioned for growth, because it has so much potential, as we know. With that, it's back to you in studio, Mfundo.
Indeed, the continent does have immense potential. That's SABC News reporter there, Nompumelelo Siziba, speaking to us.